Okay, good afternoon. I'm Cindy Richardson. I am your speaker for this session, and we are going to talk about distance learning with AbleNet's My Way program. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. So what our goal is during distance learning is to give students a sense of normalcy and to keep them active, to keep them engaged, to keep them moving forward so that when we do get back to school, it is with a smooth transition back into the classroom. The My Way program is actually a program that we introduced in January of this past year, a few months before the COVID-19 really exploded in the United States. And this program was designed to particularly surround the low incidence classrooms with the technology they needed to be successful. And what we wanted to do was to meet with individual districts and find out what they had in terms of technology for these classrooms, and then come up with a customized kit of assistive technology for each classroom within their district, each low incidence classroom within their district, and to package those kits in such a way that batteries were included with each kit. There was a carrying tote. There was a getting started guide, which is our action dictionary, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. There would be a 30-minute discussion or a webinar with myself and other team members for the teacher or therapist on how to use the technology in the kit. And then, of course, you would have free access to our technical support team and free shipping. And on top of that, we would be putting discounts on top of each kit so that the school districts could really get this program off the ground and really surround these classrooms with the technology they needed. Now, where does this come in with distance learning? Well, we launched this program in January, and then when the COVID-19 hit the scene, we had districts say, hey, can we look at this a little bit differently, because now we don't have classrooms that we are looking to support. Our classrooms are, in individual homes. So we're either looking at, in many instances, schools did not have the opportunity to go back in, or teachers did not have the opportunity to go back in and get their supplies. Some did, but then others did not. And you all know that in a lot of these school districts, there aren't necessarily sufficient supplies for all of these classrooms. So what ends up happening is that the teachers went home not having enough supplies, and the students did not have enough supplies. So what ended up happening was the school districts reached out to us and said, can you go ahead and do a My Way program that would reach out to individual families? And so what we did was we customized the My Way program so that we could send technology directly to the families that the schools wanted to go home, so that they could deliver instruction to the students in their homes through the My Way program. And then they just decided what they wanted each student to have. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at some different examples of ways that teachers were using the My Way program, either to demonstrate instruction or that students were using it to access instruction. And then we'll look at some of the typical components of the My Way kits. So before we go on, what I wanted to do too was, I mentioned that there was a guide to getting started. And this is our action dictionary. In each kit, you get a USB drive, and on that USB drive, there is this action dictionary. And when you open it up, the action dictionary is basically every verb that a student would encounter as they're trying to access the curriculum, whether it's the word answer, say, write, estimate, predict, read, multiply. All of those words a student with a disability might have a difficult time performing. So what the action dictionary does is it gives the teacher anywhere between 4 and 8 different examples, either using AbleNet technology, which is a lot of what the teachers are receiving when they get a My Way kit, or it gives them examples of a no-tech idea of something they might have in their classroom or in their home that can be used to accomplish the same idea. So this is all included in a sample kit too that goes either home or goes to the classroom or goes to a teacher's home. We can mail directly to a teacher as well. So if we look at, we're trying to simulate what is going on in the classroom, and we're looking at what might be a best practice classroom. We see that there are areas in the classroom where there might be math going on or literacy instruction going on. There might be a morning meeting center or a computer area. There might be a work or vocational area. And then in instructional area, all of these areas should have communication going on in each one of these areas. There also might be additional accommodations, such as computer accommodations or iPad access, or there might be activity access for, like, say, for instance, in the work center, if there might be a shredder that a student can't work because they might not be able to press the button, they might be using one of our PowerLink environmental control units to actually access that shredder. So these just give you some different examples of ways that we can modify the classroom so that it is technology rich and gives opportunities for active student engagement. Then if we look at some of our most popular products, we can see that with just 1 or 2 low-tech products, they can be game changers in terms of providing access to instruction. So just taking a single message communication device like our Big Mac, that could be used all day long to answer questions, to say repetitive storylines, to greet peers or adults, to make requests, to ask for help, to continue an activity, or to acknowledge comprehension of information. Our step-by-step, which is a sequential messaging device, that could be used to recite items in a sequence, to count, to say the days of the week, vocabulary words, instructions, to engage in conversational exchanges, to practice conversational responses, to give simple verbal step-by-step directions, to recite a poem. Our iTalk 2 with levels, this is our big choice-making device. So it could also be used to explore opposing core words like yes, no, go, stop, to answer yes, no questions, to engage in early conversational responses. Our talking bricks, they come in a pack of 3, and they could be used to give very quick, ready messages like I want help, I need a break, I'm ready, I want more, I'm finished, I know the answer, I don't understand, that was great. Then we move into our multiple layered response devices. So we've got our Quick Talker 7, our Quick Talker 12, our Quick Talker 23. These have multiple message displays, but then each display has multiple levels. So you could have a total of over 100 messages on our most extensive display device. So you could use core words to answer during instructional periods, or conversational turn taking. You could request assistance, or give opinions, or combine core words to increase the complexity of a message. Our Super Talker has been redesigned so that it has a feather touch. So you don't have to actually press it. You can just lay your finger on these grid cells and it will activate. It is one of my favorite devices of all our communication products. It comes with 4 different grids. And with this, you can initiate conversation, you can respond to questions, you can comment, affirm, negate, direct others, construct a narrative. It also has a switch port on the side, so if you hit the switch, it will skip to the next cell and say what's been programmed into that cell, so you can use it for auditory scanning. A very multiple, versatile device. Then our iTalk 4 with levels, with 3 different levels, it's a new device for us. It can be used for programming in up to 12 messages. If you wanted to consider some ideas for this, on level 1, you could have weather messages like sunny, rainy, windy, cloudy. Level 2, you could have messages related to reading, such as turn the page, please read, look at this, I know the answer. Level 3, you could have core messages like want, more, help, and all done. And then with our alternate spinner, you can certainly take the dice overlays off, flip them over so that they're blank, and then use those to put picture communication symbols around the outside of the board, so that, or pictures. So you could do daily attendance with student photos. You could choose a student to answer. You could practice content skills of all kinds, vocabulary, numbers, colors, etc. You could do a random selection of art materials or select game cards. These are just a few of our most popular communication devices that can go into these kits. This is an example, and let me move this out of the way a little bit. This is a student bird watching with her teacher and with her mother, and she had programmed in on a Big Mac, she had it programmed in to say a bird, and whenever the bird landed, she could go ahead and say a bird and comment about the bird that just landed on her windowsill. So this is an idea of a piece of low-tech equipment that went home so that the child and the teacher could be doing instruction while the child is at home. So this was, the parents were really excited about this, and the child was thrilled that, you know, she could use her device to comment about the bird. And this is a story using the alternate spinner, and you can see what they've done is they've flipped the overlay over and have made a black background, and they're using Pete the cat, and in this activity they're building a sandwich, and what happens is when they spin, the teacher's daughter picks up the item and places it on the sandwich. And she also made a big communication device or template communication board earlier in the year to go with the communication about the lunch that they had. But you know, this could also be used with her spinning and then having the child at home go and find whatever it was that they had spun for. So just a lot of different ways that you could use the spinner and get some good language going, and you know, really focus in on those goals, those language goals, and you know, just like I said, really using that technology to the fullest. This is by the same teacher, and this is a mini duck counting exercise and using the spinner or the big dice. And what they're doing is counting the ducks, moving them from one tray to the next. And in this activity, this is sent in by another teacher, where they're talking about doing a character analysis on whatever they spin for, whatever the character is that they spin for in the book. And then they have been using Zoom to answer questions as a class, and it got to be that it was a little difficult for the teacher to know who was answering the question. So he ended up making a template of the people, the students in the class, so that he could just call on them, and then he would know and be able to keep track of who was answering. So just lots of versatility in terms of being able to use a lot of the technology for distance learning. This is another tool that's perfect for distance learning, our environmental control unit or power link, because you can control up to 2 appliances with single switches. You can use this with wireless switches too, but basically you would plug in either a blender or a mixer, or I'll show you an example of a blow dryer that was plugged into this. Any low-tech appliance can be plugged into this, and a switch, and then you operate the appliance just by clicking on the switch or hitting the switch. So you could have the teacher and the student both making shakes or making brownies or whatever it is. And it has several different features in terms of how to operate the switch. You can have it where once you hit the switch, it will run for so many seconds or minutes, or it'll run until you hit it again. It will even count the number of switch activations if you have it set on that particular mode. And I'll show you some different examples. This is one, this was done in the classroom, but this can certainly be duplicated at home, where the blow dryer is plugged in, and these are empty water bottles with paper and red tape that are wrapped around them, and a ball. And the student is actually using a Big Mac with the switch, with a cord plugged into the switch port, so that it's activating as a switch also. And so when he hits it, it is turning on the blow dryer, and then he's blowing down the bowling pins. And this young man is using a wireless switch to control the food processor and the mixer. So this would, again, be a great activity to do at home to carry out IEP goals. Again, this technology really works for distance learning because it does just follow through with the same goals we were using in the classroom. For those of you that need computer access, we have our Hitch computer interface device. And you can hook this up and then read a book and download from Tar Heel Reader. And you can have the parent reading the pages as the child hits the switch to turn the pages. Help Kids Learn is another site that has lots of great activities on it. You can subscribe and get 10 free games and activities. Our iPad access with our Bluetooth. This is a Bluetooth switch interface device. And you can also plug a switch into it. But this will allow you to, again, go in and play those switch games, but it can also access your videos, your music, an augmented communication device, or the internet. And in conclusion, when you think about distance learning and the My Way program, it's going to support student IEP goals. The parents can implement the IEP goals easily, often without the need for video conferencing or the internet, which we find has also been an issue in distance learning because not every parent has the computer at home or has internet access. And this provides a sense of normalcy as students have been using this technology all year. So if you would like more information about the My Way program and how your district can get involved in the My Way program and what that might look like in your district, here is my information, my contact information, and I would love to have a conversation with you all and just explain a little bit more about what that might look like in your district and find out where you all are. And there are, for those of you who don't know, there is stimulus money as part of the COVID-19 package that's going through Congress right now, earmarked for education, for assistive technology, in terms of going back in and trying to equal out the disparity that was within the districts, and make sure that they are more prepared the next time something like this happens. So if you all have any questions, we might have 1 or 2 minutes. I can open the floor up for questions.
I think there's some questions on the chat.
Okay. Okay, so I have some questions. How are these funded by the school districts? Are the kits pre-assembled or do the schools pick items based on classroom and student needs? The kits are totally picked by the district based on the classroom and the students' needs. And I had that question asked a couple of times. So great question. It is, and we've had districts that had 1 item in the kit and some districts that had 10 items. So it can be as few as 1 and as many as you might want in each kit. But they are totally picked and designed by you. That is one of the things that we felt very strongly about. We wanted it to be unique and customized to each district. And how are they funded? Each district has looked at funding a little bit differently, but I can tell you that with this new round of COVID-19 funding, a lot of districts are looking to those monies to fund these kits. I don't know with the kits that were purchased before that where those monies came from, but I do know that we have several kits that we have put quotes out for that they are basically being tied to those monies.
Art.
Is there anybody else?
So are the kits then, each, the price of the kit is based on the individual price of each item?
That's right. And then on top of that, there are discounts applied to the kits. So we are doing like a volume discounting as well. So the more that you order, the greater the discount. But there is a discount that is applied to the kit just because you are enrolling in this program.
Enrolling in the program information is available on the website?
There is information on the website. Yes, there sure is. Are there any other questions? Well, I appreciate everyone coming this afternoon. If you have any questions or want to talk again about, what this might look like in your district, please reach out to me. We can, normally what we do is, get together for a webinar, and you can invite as many people as you would like and sit down and talk about what you all already have and what you would like to see. And, I also bring a portfolio of things that are popular with a lot of districts, and we kind of go over those and see where you all would like to start. And we even have a loan program that we can tie into this if there are some things that you see that you would like to try before you put together your own custom kit. We can loan those things out to you as well. So get in touch with me if you have any questions or you want to talk about the My Way program a little bit further. And I look forward to talking with you guys in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.